The Philadelphia Flyers.
Here, Jesse, can you read my first note for the Flyers?
Steve Dangle wrote, oof.
Yeah, that's all I got.
61 points last year.
That much.
And it's hard to imagine it gets better this year, but what do the odds makers have them at, Jesse, in Sports Interaction?
73.5.
That's a big swing.
It's hard to be worse than
61.
Yeah.
I could see them finishing last in the division and still beating that.
Right. Like this isn't a lot of points.
It's historically low.
Oh boy.
Yeah, like, okay, so
They're not going to be good.
So,
right.
So here's the thing, okay? A coach can change these things. And Tortorella, the new coach, is the kind of guy who we know that can take low-skill teams and turn them into low-skill teams that perform better than expectation, right? We saw it with Columbus for years. He was able to take a team that wasn't that great on paper, and each year they would squeak into the playoffs.
Whenever my wife buys a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, she has me pick it because she knows I'll get more meat off the bones than she will. That's what it is, you know.
Is that what it
I
is?
mean? What the frig are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? I'm the John Tortorella of chicken. No, I want chicken. Is there more upstairs?
Chicken?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get to back to the Philadelphia Flyers? You've got no Ryan Ellis again this year.
Yeah.
You made a weird trade for Tony DeAngelo, which prevented you.
It was really good.
Very likely from getting Johnny Gaudreau.
What a travesty.
And Torts, the new coach, is ready to address the character issues that he willingly admits are there, and they will not name a captain. What is a win for the Flyers this season?
This is... We talked about teams that could tear it down. We talked about teams that are on their way up. The Flyers are, I would say this is rock bottom. They're at evaluation.
So we don't know. We're just seeing what we have.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they just traded, 3 picks for DeAngelo? So they haven't torn it down yet. I think there are still some delusions about how good this team is internally.
You're giving them too much credit.
You're giving them a lot.
I think Chuck Fletcher thinks the team is decent.
Do you?
Dude, they're really not.
Look at the moves he's been making. I think he thinks there's something there, and in reality, there's nothing. But I don't think Chuck Fletcher is committed to a rebuild here.
Here's why I say they're in an evaluation stage. We're going to ignore RFAs and guys on league min deals. Here are their UFAs. JVR, who they offered everyone and no one wanted. Travis Zanheim and Justin Braun.
Everybody else is locked up.
Like, if you're rebuilding, you want a windfall. Jesse, what am I seeing under their... Oh, they do have their own first. They do have their own first. Because the Florida pick they got for Giroux is for next year. But they don't have a second for each of the next 2 years. Because one of them was for Tony DeAngelo, and the other was for Rasmus Ristolainen, who is taller and Finnish.
This segment's a mess because the team's a mess. It's hard to know.
And I'm hungry.
But what thread is there to follow with the Philadelphia Flyers? And that's why I started it off with what is a win. Is it getting the team back together and going one direction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a win. Get Tortorella hockey, which I think is Flyers hockey.
Yeah.
I think Tortorella coaches the style that the Flyers
and Flyers fans could love this guy.
You have Cam Atkinson, who's the perfect preacher of the gospel of John Tortorella. Sean Couturier coming back is genuinely lovely news for him in the hockey world and for the team, who desperately needs good news.
Carter Hart.
He's got no choice but to be the guy we all thought he was going to be at the beginning of his career. He's got no choice. And this isn't even a Flyers issue. Like, I don't think anyone has ever had to write something like this in their notes before, but I put Felix Sandstrom is their backup because Putin is a monster.
Oh, because the goalie...
Ivan Fedotov.
Yeah, they signed to a contract, and I believe he was going to be their backup or at very least third. And now he's God knows where. Carter Hart has the Flyers have no choice. Like, they might be picking off the waiver wire here. I don't know.
Do you think Carter Hart has this? Is he actually good?
It's there. We've seen it. We've seen
but
it.
he's had injuries.
We've seen it once and a half. We saw it in the bubble season. He had great playoffs, and then his rookie year where it's 31 games.
If I remember correctly, he was borderline unusable the first half last year, and then very respectable the second half.
Yes.
If I remember correct. So it's there, but it's got to be there for 55 games. Like, he's got to play a lot. He's got to play a lot for the Flyers to even sort of be in any sort of conversation. Now, goaltending is a weird position because we talked about the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, and I fully expect the Flyers to be involved. But sometimes if a team is like, games are over before they begin in net, they'll go out and they'll make a move just to be sort of respectable. I could see the Flyers potentially doing that. And I mean, Carter Hart is also, how old is he, Jesse?
Carter Hart is 24 years old.
He's 24 and he's already played, like, what is this, his fifth season? Fifth?
Yeah, his rookie year was the 18-19 season.
And his development was interrupted by the pandemic. 2 years there. So, I mean, oh boy, Ron Hextall was right. Maybe it was for the wrong reasons. The Flyers kind of need to protect this kid, and they're giving him Felix Sandstrom. Maybe
Not
Felix
great.
Sandstrom ends up being great.
I don't think the general managing has been good there.
Well, I mean, that's
like, I don't.
Yeah.
That's not a hot take. Like, on March 21st, they re-signed Rasmus Ristolainen for 5 years or 4 years. Like, what's going on?
Well, the other thing I want to say, and I've tried to keep it away from, I've tried to keep it to coaches and players when we do these, right?
Sure.
But there's I think, Jesse, you nailed it. There's an unquestionable issue at general manager here.
Yes.
Because we are asking what the Flyers are. We can't ask the players, and we could sort of ask the coach, but really what you need to ask is the ownership who continue to employ Chuck Fletcher. What is the goal? When he sits down with the Snyder family, what does he say? When he puts together a PowerPoint presentation, what slides does he say, this is the direction? Because I know Kyle Davidson sits down with the Wirtz family and goes, we're going to the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a clear direction.
Yes, for sure. And it's going to be painful in Chicago, but then it won't be painful anymore. I know that when Kyle Dubas sits down with the board of Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, the Rogers family, the Bell people, Larry Tannenbaum, he's like, we're going for the cup.
Yeah.
Even though we can't get out of the first round. Here's how we're going to do it.
But they're trying.
What does Chuck Fletcher say in the meeting with the Snyder family?
I think whatever they want to hear.
And
what do they want to hear?
Whatever
I don't know.
hear.
What do they want to hear?
No,
Yeah.
I said this when he was hired. He is a career yes man to whoever the owner is. And that's what he's doing in Philly, and it's ruined the team.
And you look
Can
at the
I be
team,
any more blunt?
and there's no answers when you even look at the roster. Like, we can't even guess what direction he's
I don't
trying to
know.
do because it's just such a mismatch.
Forget everything you know about Tony DeAngelo. The fact that they added shows that they don't know what they are. They don't know what they are. That trade it just shows how completely rudderless the team is. So here, Flyers fans, you're like, all right, Uncle, I've heard enough of this shit. Let me give you some optimism.
Give me a W.
So I remember years ago talking about, remember there was a time where the Tom Wilson contract, when he signed it, looked like a piece of shit?
Yeah, 1 minute, by the way.
One thing I talked about is, what if the new market inefficiency is big, tough guys? Because it used to be that's the entire league.
Yep.
Then the market inefficiency became Alex DeBrincat. Then the whole league tried to get the new Alex DeBrincat.
Yep.
They tried to get the new little guy who could score a ton of goals. Can the Flyers bully their way to wins this year? They've at very least put themselves in a position to try to do that. They've gotten bigger. They've gotten meaner. It's on the ice and behind the bench. That's the only way they're going to win games this year.
There you go. Where do you have them?
Dead last in the Metro.
Jesse Blake.
I got them 8th as well.
That's nicer than saying dead last, but it's the same.
Eighth, sorry.
It's going to be a year full of good quotes from John Tortorella, but it's not going to be a good year on the ice.
And you're right. I think Torts will probably take the lion's share of the attention in Philadelphia, right? On
He's
purpose.
very good at that. He says, I'm going to keep making a distraction so my players can do what they want. You know?
Absolutely.
I give him until, I'm going to say the All-Star break before he completely snaps.
Wrapping it up, I got it at 8th as well. No surprise.